cutest bunch of children I've ever come across in my life. Guys, give me a big cheer. We're coming to you live here in Galway. I've got three of the former superstars, Peter Lee, Cormac, Bane, and of course, Mike Judge here beside me. Lads, a huge game coming up this weekend. How are you feeling? Mike, I'll come to you first.
Well, look, where else would you get this on a not so nice morning? All the Waynes, as you call them, or we call them children, our kids. You call them Waynes, but it's wonderful here to be here this morning. Now, we were in Crow Park 2 years ago. We didn't win it, but we feel the experience we gained from 2 years ago should stand to us in good stead.
Yeah, well, Mick, obviously the upset against Kerry, it was a hard pill to swallow, but you see him in good spirits coming into the weekend or this weekend. Do you think he can turn it around?
Well, I think so, because, playing in a final, there are things in a final that get to you. And I honestly believe that we have the players, and with the experience we had 2 years ago, we have got over those little kind of adrenaline pumps that might affect you on the day. And I think we're going to hit the ground running on Sunday. But in fairness, in due respect to Armagh, they are good, because the last 3 times we played them, we drew this year. We beat them in penalties, they beat us last year, and we beat them on penalties the year before.
And Donegal beat them a couple of times this year, but that's a story for another day, I suppose.
The one thing about sport is it's unpredictable. So we can't predict it, because if we could predict it, we probably wouldn't go to the match.
Well, this is it. It wouldn't be as entertaining if we knew the results.
Exactly.
Peter, it was 1983 when you were last involved. Can you tell us a bit about that game against Dublin?
Well, the memories are fading a little bit, but I know it's memorable for the sending offs, which there were a number of. The biggest memory I have is losing, obviously, but the day was terrible. The rain was just very heavy, the wind was strong. It kind of played havoc on the game, really. And as a result, I suppose, it probably tended to get a bit scrappy, and the tackles came in, and that's probably the reason that the game, the sending offs occurred. But
and what was it they called that game? There was a name for it.
There's a few names, but the Dirty Dozen is definitely one of them.
The Dirty Dozen. And I hear through the grapevine that although it was the Dirty Dozen game, you're still quite friendly with a few of the Dublin players.
We are actually. Of all teams we've played against down through the years, they are the one team that we keep in touch with. We play golf regularly with them, and we meet up for special occasions. And obviously we all got together recently there. Brian Mullins, who was one of the team, passed away a couple of years ago, and we all met up and had a great occasion on that time. Not a great occasion, but obviously it was sad, but we all met and chatted.
Peter, you must be one of the only Galway men to be happy to see Dublin, because I think after the result the other day when you beat them, it was as if you had won the All-Ireland final that day. I mean, you must have been elated. Do you think you can replicate it now coming into Sunday?
Well, part of the reason for being so happy about the result is it was the first time that Galway had beaten Dublin in a championship match. So that was one.
I think was the last time.
Yeah.
90 years, actually.
Yeah, 90 years. And part of the reason was, first of all, Dublin are so good anyway. To beat them without any other reason was so good, because they were favourites. And I suppose maybe we did overreact slightly to the game, but I think they were brought down to earth fairly quick. And
well, I think the whole country kind of reacted similarly. I mean, with Dublin out of it, it seems like it's wide open, Cormac. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah, well, that Dublin victory was a game changer for this Galway team. It's hard to know what the team will be. I wouldn't be surprised if the same team starts on Sunday that started against Donegal. Sean Kelly starts, I think, if he's fit. I believe he's not 100% fit, so I wouldn't be surprised if the same team starts again. But I think it doesn't really matter if there are personnel changes with this Galway team, because their defensive system is so strong. I mean, this Galway team, they don't concede goals, they don't even concede goal chances. And I think that part of their game has brought them to a new level this year.
Yeah, and you're saying about the lineup. Obviously, Shane Walsh picked up an injury in the last game. Do you think he'll feature, and will he be a force to be reckoned with this weekend?
Yeah, well, look, Shane Walsh is a class player. He's a brilliant player. He was the match winner against Dublin. Now, he didn't train in the build-up to the Donegal game, but I believe he is training last week and this week. And you can have the best defensive systems in the world, but at the end of the day, you need lads to kick the ball over the bar, and lads like Shane Walsh kicking frees and from play the next day. Galway will need him if they're to win the match.
These games can really come down to the wire. I think Armagh have a fairly strong bench. Would you be confident if the game went to extra time?
I wouldn't be surprised if the game does go to extra time, but Galway this year have been finishing very strong. The last 10 minutes of games, they're finishing very strong, and their bench are contributing as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the game goes to extra time, but I'd be confident if Galway are thereabouts with 10 minutes to go.
And Mick, do you think there's much of a difference in the game that's being played today in comparison to when maybe you lads were playing?
Oh, totally. Quite frankly, I would find it difficult to play the current game because it's kind of a science now, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
in our time, well, in my time, I speak for myself, Peter, like it was catch and kick by and large. It was man for man. But nowadays you're marking space, it's zones. Like it's a very difficult game to play now.
It's become very, very tactical. I'm gonna get quick predictions off the three. As Cormac, will start with you.
I say Galway by 3, and it may even go to extra time, but I fancy Galway by 3 points.
Peter?
It's going to be tight. Donegal or Armagh are a very good team, but I think maybe if our big players play, we'll win.
Yeah, short head to Galway, a couple of points.
Guys, who do we think's going to win this weekend? There you have it, guys. Back to you in the studio.